Hi, I'm Jackie Cerda-Smith, and I'm a student parent. And I just wrapped up my second year as a doctoral student in the psychology program at NC State. After my daughter was born, I realized that NC State offers few policies and resources to support student parents' needs, which is why I'm creating this PSA. I want to inform people about issues related to student parents' needs broadly and at NC State in particular. And I also want to encourage student parents to join me in advocating for our place in the pack. In my classes, I've been able to research student parents' needs and their belonging in higher education broadly. And what I found is that graduate and undergraduate student parents attending colleges and universities are at risk for not having their need of belonging met because they're non-traditional students whose identities and needs are not often acknowledged or met by their institutions. This is especially concerning for single parents, Latinx, Indigenous, and Black parents who are least likely of any adult demographic to hold a college degree. So student parents have fewer financial resources to fund their education, and they're more likely to drop out compared to students without children, despite on average earning higher grades than students without children. And so this is really indicating that high childcare costs mean that student parents are unable to continue their education, despite the fact that many of them hold part-time or full-time jobs, and despite the fact that their children are often the primary motivating factor for them enrolling in college in the first place. And this is especially true for parents with young children. So student parents with preschool aged kids who aren't in kindergarten yet or aren't in the K-12 system, they have less quality and quantity of time to spend on school compared to student parents with older children or students without children. And that's primarily due to time spent on childcare. So these factors indicate that childcare is a really important factor in maintaining student parent success and persistence in graduate and undergraduate school. And without having childcare benefits or assistance, it really reduces the likelihood that student parents will earn their degrees and get that diploma. And it also reduces the likelihood that they'll continue in the education pipeline, either from a community college to a four-year university or from undergraduate to graduate school. So institutions are uniquely positioned to support student parents' belonging by offering policies and resources that support their roles as parents. And that could be things like offering childcare benefits to parental leave policies that are adequate, or to like parenting support groups or workshops. And however, few universities offer that at the graduate level, let alone the undergraduate level. And even when these policies are in place, usually faculty and even administration are unaware of the policies. And so these lack of formal policies put undergraduate students in a really vulnerable place because it ends up meaning that students are served on accommodations on a case-by-case basis. And so that flexibility can be a good thing, but it also leaves the accommodations up to the discretion of individual people. And so that leaves a lot of room for inequity. Although all of this information is really helpful to know about difficulties and challenges that student parents in higher education face in general, and some of the issues associated with belonging vulnerability for this population, we really need to know more about student parents at NC State. As I mentioned earlier, NC State offers few policies and resources that support student parents' needs, none of which address childcare, which research indicates time and time again is vitally important for student parent success and persistence. However, NC State does offer childcare benefits to some employees, stating, "We strive to support our commitment to family-friendly initiatives, develop a strong and diverse childcare program for our campus community, and increase the capacity and access to quality childcare for all faculty and staff and postdocs." While that's really great for faculty, staff, and postdocs, it's not at all helpful for student parents who typically need more financial assistance with childcare than employees. NC State also recently published their 10-year strategic plan. And to reach many of their goals, including championing a culture of equity, diversity, inclusion, belonging, and well-being in all that we do, we really need to better understand and support student parents at both the graduate and the undergraduate level. So there's currently a graduate school task force that's looking into different childcare solutions. And this group was founded last fall after I wrote a letter to several administrators at NC State voicing my concerns about a lack of childcare support for student parents. Since then, I've worked with members of the group, and I could honestly say that they have the best intentions, but their work is slow going because of the bureaucratic system. We also really don't know anything about student parents at NC State or their needs. And so I expect that we're a very diverse group on campus that spans both the undergraduate and graduate level. Some student parents are going to be older and non-traditional. Some are going to be younger and like a traditional college age. Some student parents are expecting children, and others might have children who are grown and who are in the class next to them. And so we really need to find a way to represent our collective needs as student parents at the university. And we need a group to advocate on our behalf. And this is why I want to create a student parent association at NC State, but I can't do it alone. I need your help. So what can student parents and their allies at NC State do to support their needs? The first thing that they can do is to complete the short survey that I created and posted on my website about student parents. So this is a way to have your voice be heard. And I want to be clear that the information you provide on this form will not be used for research purposes, but information as a whole will be shared with graduate school task force so that they can better understand who student parents are at NC State and what your needs are. So there's just some brief kind of demographic information about you and your role as a parent, and then some just brief information about your child or children. And this is really important. How can NC State support your needs as a student parent? So make sure you're discussing your particular needs and how you think the university can support them. And then there's also areas for advocacy opportunities. So if you're interested in helping me start the Student Parents Association, this is a great place for you to indicate that. If you have resources that are campus-based or community-based that you'd like to share with other student parents, this is a great place to include that. And then if you are interested in learning more information about future research opportunities related to your role as a student parent and to advocate in that way, there's a place for you to indicate that and anything else you'd like to share. The resources that student parents send in, I'll compile on this document. I've already started with some campus-based and kind of community-based resources that I've found helpful in my role as a student parent. And then I think it's also really important that we connect with one another. I know with COVID and online classes and being really concerned about having a young child in COVID, I haven't really met other student parents at NC State, and I would love to do so. So let's start by connecting virtually. I created a Facebook group so that we can provide resources and support and also share some pathways for advocacy and social networking opportunities. Thanks so much for taking time with me today. I know you're very busy, but I appreciate you listening to this video. I hope that you found it helpful, and I hope to connect with you soon. Thank you. Bye.